So, welcome students. In the previous video, we have talked about artificial intelligence and its goals. So, today we are going to discuss about the machine learning. So, let's just get started. Machine learning is the branch of artificial intelligence which enables computers to learn the pattern from the data and make prediction or decisions without being explicitly programmed for every task. As you can see in the picture here, machine learning is actually the subset of AI. So machine learning is a data-driven technology as it works around the data. So it tries to learn the existing patterns among the data, and based on those findings or the things that it has learned, it is going to make predictions without being explicitly programmed for every task. दिस इज द वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट इन द मशीन लर्निंग। इसका मतलब ये है कि हम कंप्यूटर को कोई भी रूल्स नहीं बताते हैं। इंस्टेड व्हाट इट डज कि हम उसको डेटा देंगे और उस डेटा से मशीन लर्निंग जो होता है वो क्या होता है, वो खुद से सीखता है। ठीक है, हम उसे कोई भी प्रोग्राम सीखने के लिए कोई प्रोग्राम हम लिख के उसे नहीं देते हैं। ठीक है, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दिस मोर क्लियरली विद एन एग्जांपल। Okay, so हमारे पास एक एग्जांपल है that you want a computer to identify whether an email is a spam or not spam. So इसको समझते हैं हम। जैसे मान लेते हैं कि आपके पास जीमेल अकाउंट है और उसमें बहुत सारे मेल्स आते होंगे, राइट? एंड इन द जीमेल यू हैव सीन अ फोल्डर नेम स्पैम। ओके, सो आप क्या चाहते हैं कि आपका जो कंप्यूटर है वो आइडेंटिफाई कर सके कि आपके मेल पे जो भी ईमेल्स आ रहे हैं वो स्पैम है या फिर नहीं है। ठीक है, अब हम इसे देखते हैं कि इसे हम ट्रेडिशनल लर्निंग में किस प्रकार से करेंगे। ठीक है, इन द ट्रेडिशनल लर्निंग वी आर गोइंग टू मेक सम रूल्स। जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर किसी ईमेल में विन मनी या लॉटरी या फ्री प्राइज जैसे वर्ड्स का यूज किया गया होगा तो हम बोलेंगे कि वो स्पैम ईमेल होगा, राइट? सो इन दिस वी मेक सम रूल्स एंड देन वी गिव द डेटा। यहाँ पर डेटा क्या है, आपका ईमेल होगा। ठीक है, नाउ जो भी रूल्स हमने क्रिएट किए हैं उनको हम क्या करेंगे, इस डेटा पे अप्लाई करेंगे एंड आफ्टर दैट वी विल गेट एन आउटपुट दैट इज स्पैम और नॉट स्पैम। सो अभी हमने बात किया कि ट्रेडिशनल लर्निंग में हमारा ये कैसे वर्क करेगा। सो नाउ व्हाट अबाउट मशीन लर्निंग, हाउ डज इट वर्क्स? सो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दिस। इन मशीन लर्निंग we already know that it's going to work around the data। ठीक है, सो व्हाट यू आर गोना लर्न डिपेंड्स हैवली ऑन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ डेटा वी आर यूजिंग फॉर द लर्निंग। इसका मतलब ये है कि जो भी हम चीजें सीखने वाले हैं वो डायरेक्टली किस पे डिपेंड करती है, डेटा पे डिपेंड करता है। जो भी प्रॉब्लम या एग्जांपल हमारे पास है, ठीक है, उसके लिए हमारे पास क्या है, यहाँ पे हजारों की संख्या में क्या है, स्पैम एंड नॉन स्पैम ईमेल्स होंगे। सो वी आर गोइंग टू गिव इट टू द मशीन। जो भी सिस्टम है हमारा उसको हम वो डेटा प्रोवाइड करेंगे। अब जो हमारा मॉडल होगा, it tries to learn the patterns such as certain words, writing style, or the sender behavior to make the prediction। Okay, now what about what is this certain words? We already know that these certain words are what? Win money, lottery, free prize, or maybe it may be something else, right? What again the second one is writing style। लाइक कि कोई भी जो मेल आपके पास रिसीव हो रहा है उसकी स्टाइल, लिखने का अंदाज मतलब कैसा है, उस पर भी डिपेंड करता है। और सेंडर बिहेवियर से मतलब ये है कि अगर मान लेते हैं कि कोई थर्ड पार्टी है या सेंडर है या स्कैमर है, वो आप क्या कर रहा है, बार बार रिपीटेडली आपको कोई मेल कर रहा है कि आप इसको सब्सक्राइब करिए, आप इसको रजिस्टर करिए, आप इसको लॉग इन करिए, तो वो क्या हो सकता है, उसके चांसेस हैं कि वो क्या होगा, स्पैम हो सकता है। ठीक है, so actually in machine learning, what we are going to do is we are going to give the data and the output related to that data, and the system will make some rules or will create a model। ठीक है, based on these model or rules we are going to classify whether email is a spam or not a spam। Let's understand the difference between traditional learning and machine learning। In the traditional learning, rules are written by human beings, while in the machine learning, rules are learned from the data। So we have already seen this. Now the second one, data plus rules gives you output, but here in machine learning, data plus output gives you rules. Okay. Third one, in the traditional learning, it works well for the clear logic. Okay, for example, adding a two numbers. And in machine learning works for the complex problems. Number four, requires explicit instruction. In traditional learning, we have to write explicitly that sum is equals to a plus b. But in machine learnings, we are not going to do that. The system will, whatever the program we have designed, it will learn automatically. Okay. Fifth one is already we have talked like machine learning is going to improve itself automatically, while traditional learning doesn't improve at all. Let's assume a scenario. Okay. Suppose that there is a sender who's sending you a lot of emails, and those emails are really spam. Okay. सो अगर ट्रेडिशनल लर्निंग की बात करें तो उसमें क्या होता है, हमारे पास कुछ रूल्स होंगे एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दोज रूल्स क्या कर सकते हैं, हम लोग क्लासिफाई कर सकते हैं कि वो ईमेल क्या है, स्पैम है. बट ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है ना कि जो भी सेंडर है उसको ये पता चल जाए कि आप उसको स्पैम फोल्डर या स्पैम डिटेक्ट कर रहे हो. देन व्हाट ही कैन डू इज ही कैन चेंज हिज राइटिंग स्टाइल. देन व्हाट हैपेंस, traditional learning fails. Now, traditional learning will not be able to detect if the email is spam or not because the sender have changed his style. Okay? That is not the issue in machine learning. So, in traditional learning, the behavior is deterministic, but while in the machine learning, the behavior is probabilistic. Okay? Now, the next one is calculator, and the example of machine learning will be what? फेस रिकॉग्निशन या फिर स्पैम डिटेक्शन, वेदर प्रेडिक्शन. देयर इज सो मेनी एग्जांपल्स, राइट? So machine learning is the process of training a piece of software called a model to make useful prediction. Now the question arises, what actually a model is? So a model is the mathematical relationship derived from the data that machine learning system use to make the prediction. Okay. Now, think of it as we are going to have some input, and there is will be what? Corresponding outputs related to those inputs. But there is some unknown relationship between these inputs and outputs. So, machine learning tries to discover this unknown relationship. Let's understand this with an example. Here we have an example of a student hourly studies and their exam score. So if a student has studied for 2 hours, their exam score is 40. If the student has studies for 4 hours, their exam score is 55. If the student has studied for 6 hours, the exam score is 70. And if the student has studied for 8 hours, the exam score is 85. So if we are going to use this data set to and use the machine learning to learn the uh, unknown relationship between these two variables, like one is hourly studies is your input variable and exam score is your output variables. Here we are just having one input variable, but in actual in practical we can have more than one input variable. So what machine learning learns that higher studies generally leads to a higher exam score. Okay, so it represents the output score as the function of hourly study. Now the value of the function f is what machine learning tries to learn. Once this function f is learned, the model can start making predictions. Now there is one misconception. People often think that machine learning teaches itself. I think it does, but not completely. The human beings are still responsible for the following things. Number one, the collect data. So it is the human being that is responsible for collecting the appropriate data as required by your problem. The next one is clean data. Since we are going to collect the data, it is our responsibility that we are going to remove the any impurities that it has. For example, it may have some errors, it may have some missing values, or it may have some noise. So the human beings are responsible for cleaning these data. The third one is define objectives. So we already have collected our data. So now we are going to define what we actually gonna learn. Okay. The next one, choose algorithm. After we have defined what we are gonna learn, now we need to define how we are going to learn it. Since in machine learning there is so many algorithms. So out of these algorithms, which algorithm we are going to choose? Okay. The next one, evaluate results. We, as already discussed, the machine learning has what? So many algorithms. Okay. Then what we are going to do is we are going to apply these algorithms on the data set and we are going to make predictions. So in the evaluate results, we are going to test the accuracy of that prediction. Whatever the prediction we are making is actually right or wrong, or how much confident we are that whatever we have learned is actually correct or not. What we have learned in this section is what machine learnings learn is the internal decision making rules, which are very complex for the human beings to manually write. Okay. With this, we will conclude the today's videos. In the next video, we will focus on how machine learning works step by step. If you are having any doubts or not able to understand any points, let me know in the comment section. I will try to make the video on it as soon as possible. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching till the